One would be digitalisation because of the legacy of telecommunications and Nokia's strong history in the UK. And my background's telecom, so I know that market very well from a high-value networking perspective. There'd also be healthcare and well-being, they're strong markets. I would say that there's a growing trend naturally because of climate change for innovation in clean tech and bioeconomy. So those would be three areas. We're also doing quite a bit in the UK related to smart mobility, which is obviously connected to smart cities. So there's no surprise that the Mobility to Service team historically have visited London a few times over the years to promote Finland's excellence in smart city technologies related to transport and that particular ecosystem. In general, in terms of cultural issues, I'm not going to mention the dirty B word, Brexit, but if we ignore Brexit, which I think we should, for the purpose of this presentation, historically there are very few barriers to market entry into the United Kingdom. One, the Finns speak English better than most English people do, so there's no language barrier, so communication is very easy. UK historically, culturally, is very similar to Finland in terms of our humour and our behaviour, again because of our histories. Politically, despite the nasty B word, is a very sort of solid political environment. It's a very trustworthy and safe place to enter. From a commercial perspective, there are very few barriers because it's a very honest country to do business with. So there are no commercial issues. So in a way, the UK is a very soft landing for Finns, which is why I think it's been quite an attractive market over the years. I would say to Finns that the most significant difference between perhaps entering or building a business domestically or entering other markets is that, like the US, in the UK it's very important to have a very strong and compelling value proposition. That key things to consider are understanding the client. That's very important in the UK, and I do urge my clients to do that. I do urge them to try to analyse as best as possible for whom they believe their product or service has value, and then having understood that target audience, address it in a way that's relevant and meaningful to get into the heart of mind of those organisations, which means they probably don't need to talk too much about technology. They need to talk about benefits and value to those companies and those companies' customers in order to ensure competitiveness and acquisition and retention of high-value customers. So that is all basically grounded in a very strong value proposition. Too many to count. Too many to count. I've lost count of the amount of times that people say to me, "Perry, you have the best job in the world." When I first heard it, I was slightly bemused. When I heard it a few times, I thought, well, actually, they know something I perhaps I'm not aware of. So after a bit of sort of scrutiny, I thought, actually, this is an extraordinarily wonderful organisation to work for. One, the fact that we are sort of multinational, so there's lots of cultural issues. There's always something exciting going on from a kind of local perspective. But the main benefit, of course, is that I'm able, with the skills that I've developed over the years and with previous employers, to add what I hope is some value to Finnish companies. And it's always lovely to be introduced to a Finnish company that's produced something that is highly innovative, of a high technical standard, which has some real relevance to the local marketplace. And for me to some way be part of the process of making them a success is overwhelmingly satisfying. But there are too many. So how long have you got to answer that question?